Charles.
Hi. I was wondering if you had detected any change in the attitude of the preference for a son, which led to all these sonogram abortions. I mean, when I was last in China, it seemed to me that there's this, at least among the middle class, the women are actually quite affluent and could potentially support parents and grandparents. I mean, has there been any change at all in this attitude?
Okay, I'll tell you a story and a statistic as well, which will sort of, yeah, it has changed. Like for the example, this bachelor village I spoke to, so all these men have been very bereft. Their wives had run away with the dowry, and because every family had to borrow a lot of money to get their sons married off, they were sort of in a financial limbo. And there was a parent I talked to who had another son waiting in the wings, and he said, I don't know what I'm going to do. I borrowed all this money so my first son could get married. Now I have a second son. I wish I had daughters. So the financial incentive is there. China at one point, so the average rate for boys to girls, it's about 105 boys born for every 100 girls. That's nature's way of compensating for risky, violent stuff that boys do to equal it.
And the mother of two sons.
In China, which is the highest gender ratio in the world, I think it's about 117 boys to 100 men. I mean, India is about 110, and in some provinces, it's something as high as 130 boys to 100 girls. But that appears to have peaked. So that, people are saying that that's good news, that people are recognizing that, having a girl is certainly as good as a boy. Certainly, urbanization is a big factor. For the first time ever in history, the balance is more for urbanization than rural. It used to be, 80% of all Chinese people live in farms, so they clearly value boys because of the physical labor. Now, a factory girl or a white-collar person is just as good as a boy as a girl. So it is changing for the better.
I will say I interviewed in northern Thailand women, Kachin women who had been trafficked to China. It was advertised that they would go as domestic workers, but in fact they were being trafficked to be brides. And a few of them escaped, and I interviewed them. Is this going to have an effect beyond China's borders? What is the effect?
Well, definitely. I mean, you might argue that China's one-child policy has benefited a certain subsection of Chinese women. That is to say, urban women born after 1980, no siblings to share with, you get a better chance of going to college and all that. But certainly for her sisters, the border sisters, Cambodia, Vietnam, North Korea, it's not been good. Trafficking is on the rise. There's a shortage of women going on. It's only going to go higher. So it's not. You can't overall argue that it's been good for women. You really can't.